How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
There are growing calls to restore the Shah. In 1979, the Soviets backed the Ayatollah. They overthrew the Shah, who was pro-America, and ousted the Shah. And I gotta tell you that seeing the Shah come back would be a good thing. But I start the show with this because it actually is very, very, very important that you understand this is a popular uprising in Iran. Reza Pahlavi, the would-be Shah of Iran, has just put this on social media, quote, Mr. President, this is an urgent and immediate call for your attention, support, and action. Last night, you saw the millions of brave Iranians in the streets facing down live bullets. Today, they are facing not just bullets, but a total communications blackout, no internet, no landlines. Ali Khamenei, fearing the end of his criminal regime at the hands of the people and with the help of your powerful promise to support the protesters, has threatened the people in the streets with a brutal crackdown, and he wants to use this blackout to murder these young heroes. I have called the people in the streets to fight for their freedom and to overwhelm the security forces with sheer numbers. Last night, they did just that. Your threat to this criminal regime has also kept this regime's thugs at bay. But time is of the essence. The people will be on the streets again in an hour. I'm asking for your help. You've proven it. I know you're a man of peace and a man of your word. Please be prepared to intervene. At about the same time, Reza Pahlavi, the would-be Shah, was on Twitter. Khamenei was on Twitter tweeting, the U.S. president who judges arrogantly about the whole world should know that tyrants and arrogant rulers of the world, such as Pharaoh, Nimrod, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and other such rulers, saw their downfall when they were at the peak of their hubris. He too will fail. Pot, meet kettle. The president has this to say.
Are you following the protesting that is taking place all over the country of Iran?
Yeah,
now?
I'm following it very closely.
And have you read that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a plan B to go to Russia?
Or someplace, yeah. He's looking to go someplace.
Do you believe that Iran, you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard. And so far, for the most part, there's been some of it, but for the most part, they haven't. There have been people killed. Some of them, the crowds are so big that some of them have had really, were stomped on. Literally, it was terrible. The crowds are just, they're massive. The enthusiasm to overturn that regime is incredible. But there's been people killed, but it's more from death it's literally stomping. It's people running in a certain direction. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over there. They know, though, that it's a stampede is, I guess, the best word. They have like a stampede. You talk about stampede for cattle. But the people are stampeding, and you're losing a lot of people with the stampedes. There's so many people protesting. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening right now. But I have put Iran on notice that if they start shooting at them, these people are totally unarmed people. And they love their country. They want something to happen. Look at their country. They've gone back 150 years. But I've told them that if they do anything bad to these people, we're going to hit them very hard.
They are doing very bad things to their people now. They are gunning them down in the streets. A number of college students in Tehran and a number of other cities have now been murdered by the Iranian regime. Not only that, Iranian security forces have been trying to go into hospitals and pull out wounded protesters to kill them instead of having doctors save their lives. In many cases, hospitals are blocking the security forces from coming into the hospitals. It is a national uprising happening in Iran. It's the second Iranian revolution. Reversion back. They are flying in many places the original flag of Iran, which instead of having the Islamic seal in the center, has a lion with a sword and the sun rising, which is the traditional royal flag of the Kingdom of Iran. They've started raising that flag around parts of the country. It's a hopeful sign that the people mean business. Now, what's so notable here is that you don't hear much of this in the American media. They're focused on Minneapolis and Portland. They're focused on domestic politics, which I get. But what's notable is that so many of the people who rise up so often in defense of the Palestinian people are not rising up in defense of the Iranian people. So many of the people who obsess over violence done to the people of Gaza are very silent about the people of Iran. Greta Thunberg has said nothing. There is something else, though, that you do have to know, and it's very similar to the Venezuelan situation, is that the United States, if it is to engage, needs some sort of level of coherent plan with the Shah that he can restore himself without a lot of American engagement. There are actually deep divisions in Iran. The people there are united in opposition to Khomeini, but not united into what comes next. That's the problem in Venezuela. A lot of people in Venezuela are united in opposition to the regime, but deeply divided amongst themselves as to what comes next. There's no reason to topple a regime if it would lead to a brutal, bloody civil war, dragging American forces into it. The difference between the two, however, is that in Iran, in a number of cities, police and local government officials are starting to turn against the regime as well and join the protesters. Some of them, it's a warning sign that they think that the Khomeini and the regime might actually be falling, and so they're picking sides to preserve themselves for whatever comes next. It's a very big deal. It is a very notable deal that the president has promised support. It has not come yet, but you should also know there appears to be military movement in Eastern Europe. And the mirror movements in Eastern Europe appear very much to mirror what happened prior to the bombing of Iran. We're seeing the same troops deployed in the same pattern in the same locations, the same Air Force munitions being relocated, things like that. It appears we may be about to engage in some capacity in Iran. Maybe it'll happen this weekend. I don't know. But it's a very big story. It is a bigger story, frankly. I think that a lot of the stuff that's happening around here, it doesn't hit you as close to home. But I think it's a big deal. There are, of course, decisions and divisions within the White House. J.D. Vance, after the president had said that we would start bombing, said, quote, "It was true 2 months ago, it's true today. A real negotiation with the United States is possible," essentially suggesting that Khomeini could begin negotiations with the United States. The people are interpreting that as J.D. Vance trying to restrain the president from going into Iran. The fact that the president himself has said if they start gunning down the citizens, he would take action, and troops have been moved into position to take action, suggests the president intends to actually stand with Marco Rubio on this and take action in Iran to deal with the situation. I'm a big believer that the president needs to keep his eye on the situation as it develops, because the Iranian people would be massive allies, and it would gut the Russian ability to wage war in Ukraine and elsewhere, because it would completely decapitate a regime that is more and more providing Russia its drones and munitions to fight. Y'all, I'm not a New Year's resolution guy. I never have been, but I have resolved, I guess you could say, before the New Year's to just drink more water. It's good for you. And I buy bottled water for the office, but I finally broke down and I bought a Cove Pure. So if you don't know what it is, it's an incredible machine. It's got technology that's certified to remove 99.9% of contaminants from the water. It gets rid of PFAs, microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, fluoride. It gets everything removed. It's the purest water you can get, and you just pour tap water in the back and let the filters do the work, and it just works. When I used it for the first time, I didn't realize you could heat up the water. You can chill the water. You can just have regular tap water at room temperature, and it just works with the push of a button. It sits right on the countertop. Didn't have to call a plumber. It makes it really easy. Cove Pure is so easy to get pure water with the push of a button. Do your New Year's resolution, improve your health with the real clean water. Right now, you can get $200 off for a limited time at covepure.com/Eric. That's COVEPURE, covepure.com/Eric, ERICK. Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. It is an Open Line Friday, and yes, you can be on the show today, 877-973-7425. You just can't yet because this is a short segment, but you'll be fine. When we come back, we got to get into the Minnesota situation. Although right now, I got to say, I'm excited for the Indiana-Miami game. That was a heck of a football game, by the way, last night. Ole Miss came close, just not close enough. Turns out my cousin is the offensive coordinator for University of Miami. I saw the name as like, I didn't realize there were two people with that name on this planet. And nope, my sister set me straight. That's my cousin, Shannon. And I guess I'm technically supposed to root for Miami, but I got to tell you, I'm really rooting for Indiana. No offense to those of you down in South Florida. And my father, by the way, is with you. Now, my father is from Coral Gables, and I think he's very excited to see Miami in this game. But the Hoosiers, they've done so good this year. I can't help but like them. They're nice people. So I was staying at a hotel the last two nights, and the University of Indiana Alumni Association is in the hotel, and they have just been pretty hammered 2 days in a row celebrating the run up to this game. It's going to be a good game. It'll be a good game between Indiana and Miami. Nonetheless, I digress. We do need to talk about a little more on Renee Brown. I had someone yell at me on Instagram last night in a private message that because I'm a Christian, I should take down the things I have said about Renee Brown. The media has engaged in willful distortion, claiming that her vehicle did not impact the ICE agent. You can clearly see in zoomed-in video it did. The New York Times insists it didn't happen, conveniently putting a text graphic over the moment of impact so you don't see it. It's just wild to watch the media doubling down on this stuff and refuse to be truthful, which is why they're discrediting themselves. Now, you may be in a situation where your current managed IT service has discredited itself with you. You should consider Vision Computers. Vision can save you money. They can keep you productive. They can make your employees great with their job while they're great with the employee computers. All you do is go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE. visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Y'all, listen, they're great people. They can build you computers. They can upgrade your computers. But their managed IT service, we have a computer from Vision in our house. And I don't have to be tech support for my kids anymore. It's fantastic. They do it for us. They get a phone number. They can call them if there's ever a problem. 15 seconds or less, somebody answers the phone, day or night. And they can even remote into the computer to help the kids. It's fantastic. They can do it for your business like they do it for my family. They can do it for you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Let Vision Computers take care of you and your technical needs and your computers. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. You might save some money by mentioning me. 404-COMPUTE. I want to confess something. I actually am pretty terrible about daily Bible reading, and I need to get better. And one of the great things I have encountered is Glorify, and I'm glad to tell you about them. This episode's brought to you by Glorify. It's the #1 Christian daily devotional app, and it's helped me focus better on reading the Bible and diving into daily devotions and meditating on God's Word. And they've got great sleep meditations as well to help you wind down at night. I've enjoyed using the app, and I wanted to put it on your radar. I thought you might as well. You get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever. You download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. It'll help you get focused on Scripture. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/Eric. Welcome back. Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, there is some news you need to know about, and it is rather interesting news. We now know why the relationship between Marjorie Taylor Greene, former member of Congress, and Donald Trump deteriorated. The relationship had begun to sour to a degree, but Marjorie Taylor Greene had recommended Donald Trump show up at a restaurant called Joe's Seafood. And she kept checking with White House aides beforehand to confirm, in fact, that the president was going to this restaurant. No one knew the president was going to this restaurant. The president heads to the restaurant, and Code Pink protesters, that is the Chinese-funded anti-American group, was there waiting for him. White House aides believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene tipped off Code Pink. Code Pink is a virulently anti-American group funded by the Communist Chinese Party. That's not in dispute. That's not an opinion. That's an actual fact. And the White House believes that Marjorie Taylor Greene gave that group the information to be able to target the president, which further raised security concerns for the president and his safety given the assassination attempt. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene today, I want you to know, is responding to this story and says, I do not have Medea Benjamin's phone number, and I do not have any contact with her. She used to stop by my office, as she stops by every office on Capitol Hill. That's what she's saying now. Here is what she said a while back. Quote, I'm America first and fully against funded foreign wars and support peace because that's good for everyone, especially the most innocent people, children. I have enjoyed a friendship with Medea for a few years now, even though politics says that's not allowed. I've learned to find bridges with others, and that's how we all win and ultimately lead to peace. So Marjorie Taylor Greene previously said on social media, putting up a picture of her in a warm embrace with the leader of Code Pink, that they had developed a friendship over some time. And now she says that she knows nothing of Code Pink and does not have the woman's phone number and doesn't talk to the woman after saying they had developed a warm friendship. She repeatedly called White House aides, making sure the president was on his way to the dinner at a restaurant she recommended. And when he gets there, there are Code Pink protesters. And this came around the time, I guess, that she said that she and Benjamin, the leader of Code Pink, who is married to a guy, I think they've got ties to the Chinese Communist Party funding sources. And it appears Marjorie Taylor Greene tipped off anti-American communist-funded protesters to protest the president when he showed up at the restaurant that Marjorie Taylor Greene recommended to him, and she having repeatedly checked in with the White House to make sure that he was going. She can deny it today, but, you know, she's got a record, and her record is her admitting she was friends with a woman. She now says, I don't really know her, haven't seen her in forever, and don't have her cell phone. You put up a picture of yourself hugging her a while back, saying how you've developed this deep friendship with her. In other news you need to know about, there's also breaking news. The family of Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf. Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf. He's the Speaker of Iran's parliament. They have filed requests for a French visa to leave Iran. This is the source is Le Figaro, which is one of the French news publications. They are trying to get out of Iran. That's a pretty big deal. When you have Islamic revolutionary politicians in Iran trying to flee the country to France, it is a wake-up call to you about the anti-Semitism issues in France, and two, the fact that you've got the Speaker of the Parliament trying to flee, or at least his family. Iranian news outlets are also reporting that there's a bank run happening, and the banks have had to suspend cash withdrawals throughout the country of Iran as people are trying to pull their cash out of the bank. Now, what's so interesting about all of this is, the alert that I got on my phone yesterday? Season 3 of Tehran is out. If you haven't seen this, it's an Apple TV series, and it is very, very good. And the 3rd season is out. What timing for Apple to do this? Now, while all of this is going on, we have the situation in, Portland and in Minnesota and Minneapolis. We have the situation now, developing situation in Philadelphia. I want to play for you now the comments of the chief of police in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, about ICE.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who say he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing, because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way. Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will whisk you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you. And the fake, whatever they call them, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail.
That's the police chief in Philadelphia threatening to arrest any ICE agents that come to Philadelphia. I'm going to be interested to see the local actual law enforcement reaction, because, well, in Minneapolis, the Fraternal Order of Police have released a statement saying they are standing with ICE. The police in Philadelphia also, there's a lot of allegations of corruption there. Going to be very interesting to see how the president responds to this. It's almost an FAFO moment for the president to go in there. Meanwhile, Tim Walz is saying no one's going anywhere quietly.
Hi, everyone. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz here. You witnessed in Minnesota yesterday a tragedy, the death of Renee Good on the streets at the hands of a federal agent. You also witnessed last night a beautiful vigil, a peaceful visual, people expressing their constitutional and First Amendment rights in a peaceful manner. And for that, I say thank you. I've been very clear. We need a couple things here. We need Minnesota to carry out this investigation to make sure that the professionals at the BCA and the local law enforcement who's in charge of law enforcement make sure we do the investigation, and then to pull back this unnecessary surge. And so with that, I would ask for all of us to continue to do this peacefully, continue to raise our voices, but do so in a manner that brings about that sense of community. In Minnesota, I'm declaring tomorrow at 10 a.m. on January 9th, I'd ask everyone to pause for a moment of silence to remember Renee Good, also to remember all that's good and right about this nation. And I'm going to ask folks, if they can, I'd ask employers to give their people some space. I'd ask each and every one to find a way to contribute in your community. It might be shoveling your neighbor's walk. It might be being at a food bank. It might be pausing to talk to someone you haven't talked to before.
Good Lord. Let me tell you about Renee Good, and I don't want to vilify the dead, but you do need to know the facts. Renee Good belonged to Minneapolis-based ICE Watch. It's a group that tracks immigration enforcement operations and trained activists to interfere with agents, including blocking law enforcement vehicles. ICE Watch chapters, which have cropped up in communities across the country in recent years, train activists to monitor ICE activities using purpose-built apps and alert allies who have been trained to flood an operation area and interfere with arrests being made. An Instagram account identified as Minneapolis ICE Watch instructed to report the locations and appearances of ICE agents. The account has posted photos across Minneapolis of law enforcement agents, vehicle license plate numbers, and ICE officers' faces. The account generates information via anonymous reports and submissions for local activists. On a tab titled Education, the account promotes information about how to de-arrest individuals who have been arrested by law enforcement by physically removing an arrestee from a law enforcement officer's grips, opening the door of a car, or pressuring law enforcement officers to release an arrestee. The de-arrest primer goes on to describe the benefits of blocking police vehicles. Quote, if you don't have a crowd asserting pressure, there may be some interference charges that come with blocking a police vehicle that may be more easily handed down for only one or two people blocking a police vehicle, but in many cases these are misdemeanor offenses in catch and release. Good, whose affiliation with Minnesota ICE Watch was first reported by the New York Post, was shot and killed Wednesday by an ICE officer in Minneapolis. DHS sources confirm her membership in the group. DHS sources told Fox Good had followed ICE agents to two separate locations before she was shot in what the Trump administration says was self-defense. Good was blocking the roadway to disrupt law enforcement at the time, and Good was stalking and impeding agents all day prior to the shooting. The tactics DHS says Good was employing appear to be in keeping with those advocated by the ICE Watch group she belonged to. In June of 2025, the Minneapolis-based ICE Watch chapter organized a protest in support of Isabel Lopez, a resident who showed up to a Mexican restaurant after local activists reported online it was being swarmed by Homeland Security and ICE agents. Law enforcement officials later confirmed the federal presence was related to a criminal investigation, not an immigration enforcement operation. By that time, activists had already encouraged locals to show up at the restaurant. Lopez was accused of obstructing, attacking, and kicking federal ICE agents and throwing a softball at a local sheriff's deputy during the protest. Minnesota ICE Watch called her a crucial defender of First Amendment rights. This is from Haley Strack at National Review. So Good was an activist, an intended activist. Now, yesterday in Portland, Oregon, there were two Venezuelan illegal aliens shot by Border Patrol, not ICE, Border Patrol. This is from Bill Malugin at Fox. Both were caught and released at the border by the Biden administration. The male is a suspected Trinidad gang member with prior DUI arrest and a deportation order. The female is allegedly involved in a Trinidad prostitution ring and had involvement in prior shootings in Portland, Oregon. And in Portland, Oregon, the mayor and local government there has said they're on the side of these two people and that federal law enforcement needs to get out. You know, part of me is willing to offer up a compromise, a federal law that says you can keep the illegal aliens, but they can't be counted in the census. Let them flood the zone. The whole reason the Democratic states want the illegal aliens is to prop up declining population numbers for purposes of the census. That's it. That's why they want them. They're useful body count. So let them keep the bodies, but tell them you can't do it for the census. That'll expose the whole game. That'll expose the entire game. And then they can flood the zone with illegal aliens and have their states go to hell in a handbasket, and the rest of us don't have to worry about it. We're not going to fund it. But as long as the blue states intend to game the system of chasing off their citizens and propping their states up with illegal aliens for purposes of power under the census, the representation in Congress and the Electoral College, the illegal aliens need to be deported. This is an existential crisis for progressive states. And the existential crisis for progressive states is one we can draw to an end either by deportations or saying these people can't count for the census. You pick. Hello there. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson. This hour brought to you by Van Allen Golf. I got to show off my putter yesterday. Boy, that sounds like something. No euphemism. My actual golf putter. It's fantastic. You can check out vanallengolf.com. Check them out on Instagram. If you text golf to 33777, you'll get the link back to Van Allen Golf. Glad to have them as a sponsor, and their golf equipment, top notch. If you are into golf equipment, go to vanallengolf.com. You'll be impressed. You really wait till you get your hands on one of these things. All right. The CNN is running cover, it seems, for this couple shot by Border Patrol in Portland. Homeland Security is saying what CNN is peddling are lies, that they're criminal illegal aliens. The driver of the vehicle, Luis David Nico Manchada, is a criminal illegal alien from Venezuela, suspected Trinidad gang member, illegally entered in 2022 and released by the Biden administration. He's been arrested for DUI, unauthorized use for a vehicle, had a final order for removal. The passenger is a criminal illegal alien and associated with Trinidad. She entered the country in 2023 in Texas and was released by the Biden administration and has played an active role in a Trinidad prostitution ring and was involved with a prior shooting in Portland, Oregon. And the left is circling the wagons. I have a sneaking suspicion that despite the claims of the press and the left, the average member of the public is not going to look kindly on these white progressives trying to block ICE from rounding up illegal aliens, particularly gangbangers engaged in drugs and prostitution. I have a sneaking suspicion this isn't going to work out the way the left thinks it is. Now, I want your banking situation to work out for you, and that's why I want you to think about oldglorybank.com/Eric. If you go oldglorybank.com/Eric, so they know I sent you. It's my bank. It's a fully online bank headquartered in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It was started by a group of conservatives who were worried about the debanking trends. But as the Trump administration has come back in, you have less to worry about with debanking. But what about your business? And what about access to your business? And what about progressive shareholders of banks trying to drive your bank from being able to work with conservatives? Well, Old Glory Bank will have your back. They believe in freedom. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. I've got a no-fee checking, no-fee savings account with them. You can do the premium accounts. If you're a veteran first responder, if you're active duty military, they got great deals for you. If you're a business, they're very hands-on getting to know your business in case you ever need lending from them. They do mortgages and CDs. oldglorybank.com/Eric. They are big advocates for helping homeless veterans right now, helping them get checking accounts. They're a great group. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply.